Hello, my name is Fiona Tetta, and this is my speech titled The Power of Communication. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Speech is power. Speech is to persuade, to convert, to compel." In any case, the statement is true. I understand the words of Emerson, and I understand the importance of communication and the influence it has on our daily lives. Communication is a prerequisite for progress. You cannot be successful if you cannot communicate well. For now, I am focusing on a career as an architect, and my goal is to be as successful as I can in the field. Communication has a large influence on architecture and how well the job is done. Society demands us to communicate in any situation and through many different mediums. I am very inspired by the world around me, and becoming an architect would allow me to use both the left and right side of my brain. I'm a creative problem solver and a little curious. Being able to communicate clearly uses the left side of my brain. However, being artsy and curious allows me to use the right side. I want to be able to help people by providing or improving the spaces that they inhabit. I would like to leave the earth a little better than it would have been without me. I am interested in designing structures that would work with the world and nature rather than against it. I feel that it is a moral responsibility to design spaces that are sustainable and green. Design such as LEED, leadership in energy and environmental design. In any career, communication is key for a successful job. Architects may spend many times alone for thinking, drawing, sketching, or making models. However, communication with others is extremely important. When a client tells you what they want, you have to be able to understand what is being said. If one thing gets lost in translation, then a lot of things can and will go wrong. Many times, architects work in teams, which is something I look forward to be doing. However, if we are not communicating clearly, then the job is not being done to the best of our ability, which will cause problems with our boss, and more importantly, the client. Having the ability to express myself clearly makes all the difference in the world. In becoming an architect, I will have to communicate to my team or to the client in each process of building a space or structure. If I was not clear enough, then things will not go right. For example, if we were discussing a color of a building, and I said something along the lines of, "I believe for this particular business, we should have a bright yet dull color that subtly complements the environment yet stands out from the rest of the surroundings." To me, that is not very clear, and if someone said that to me, I would be extremely lost. I would need to say exactly what I am thinking in a way that everyone understands and could work with. It is important that I also listen to the client's wish list. I cannot just take the client's wants and needs and include my own just because I think it is much better than his or hers. However, what I can do is suggest a design that I think could work with what his or her wish list is. But I would have to do that in a way that is not taking away any of their ideas or insulting him or her. There is a rising role in communication in society in the future. In recent days, the way society communicates with each other has changed dramatically, from handwritten letters to emails. I was born in the age of the technology boom, so communication was based on technology, whether from emails, phone calls, text messages, or social networking sites. Today provides us with many options in which we choose to communicate, but in my opinion, society, more specifically the younger generations, have lost the ability to communicate face-to-face, which is extremely important when it comes to any career. Although in the workplace, many emails and text messages will be sent to one another to quickly send important information. However, meetings will be inevitable in one's work life, and not being able to communicate face-to-face will cause uncomfortable situations and many problems with your bosses and coworkers. I am sure the future will hold even more options than we could ever imagine, but face-to-face contact will be forever be a part of our lives. Many companies have Facebook pages, where their workers can communicate to each other about anything work-related, which I believe is a great idea. It is a quick and efficient way to communicate. However, does seem to become difficult when you need to express something that seems easier to express in person. Face-to-face contact provides a much easier way to physically express yourself through body language and tone of voice. It is important to the audience to realize exactly how you are feeling about something important, especially if you are planning on becoming a leader in a company. If you are angry or happy about the work that is being done, it is much easier to express emotions in person as opposed to the internet or cell phone. Without mastering the ability to communicate, that leaves little room for improvement in any career goals. My goal includes becoming an architect student and gaining a job in working with major companies, designing buildings, or even working with single clients in designing their homes. Communication has major influence on how work is done, especially when working with other people who need to be listened to and told suggestions and ideas in a way that is understandable. I have no doubt that in the future, devices we use to communicate with will drastically change, but in-person contact should never be lost, for it allows us to clearly express our information. It is always important to provide your audience with the information they need. It is the speaker's responsibility to accurately transfer the information from their self to others. In a work environment, information is constantly being transferred from one person to another, and everyone absorbs things differently, but it is important to leave no room for error when it comes to working. Emerson had it right. Speech is power. It can motivate people and change and express feelings of any situation. It is significant only if people can understand you clearly. Communication is a part of our daily lives, whether it is simple as ordering food from a restaurant to speaking to a whole classroom full of people while presenting a project about a book you have read. It is inevitable and a skill that makes a big difference.